From a man who experienced what I consider a real paranormal attack, to psychophony in a subway whose explanation seems to be inexplicable, to top-ranking videos that will make your jaw drop, because my name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present Top 10 Extreme Horror Videos that will make your jaw drop. Number 10. How would a skeptic react if suddenly faced with something he or she cannot explain? Most people would think they would panic and run away, but the truth is that many times, those who don't believe in the paranormal end up facing the situation in a very different way. The video with which we start this collection came to us thanks to Christopher Orellana, who in his email tells us about an absolutely incredible situation. Christopher tells us that he is not a believer in the paranormal. Therefore, when what you're about to see now occurred to him, he tried to face the unimaginable. But Christopher says the more he spoke to it, the more aggressive it became, and the fear began to grow inside of him more and more. Observe.
¡Eso! ¡Woo! ¡Wow! ¡Eso! ¡Démosle color! ¿Ah? ¿Por qué andas tirando tenedores aquí? ¿Ah? Tirando un cuchillo. ¡Eso! ¡Woo! Démosle. ¿Qué más? ¿Sí o no, amorcito? ¡Eso! A ver. A ver. Dios conmigo, yo con él. Dios adelante, yo con él. Dios a mi derecha, yo con él. Dios a mi izquierda, yo con él. ¿Ah? Esta es mi casa. ¡Eso! Démosle. Dios conmigo, yo con él. Aquí estoy. Dios conmigo, yo con él. Dios a mi derecha, yo con él. ¡Sí! ¡Woohoo! ¡Démosle! ¡Eso! ¡Eso! Arranca, a ver.
The most striking thing of all is not only the activity itself, but the witness's reaction. Far from being frightened or running away, he instead incites the entity to continue. A response that seems courageous, but also reflects the typical stance of a pseudo-skeptic, one who doubts, who provokes, who convinces themselves that everything has a logical explanation, until it no longer does.
¿Sí o no, amorcito? ¡Eso! A ver. A ver.
Until the facts begin to accumulate before their eyes. How would you have reacted to this? Would you have dealt with it? I want to read your story because I think it's very likely this video is real. Number 9. Imagine you're in a hotel, about to go to sleep, and suddenly you start hearing strange noises coming from the ceiling. Most people will think it's old pipes or perhaps a restless guest in the room above. But what would you do if, while searching for the cause, you discover someone or something is silently watching you? That's exactly what one woman experienced as she prepared to sleep. Disturbed by the sounds, she reached for the small hinged mirror on the wall to check her surroundings. And that's when her camera captured something absolutely chilling. Watch. A strange, indistinct face stared at her from the top of the shower. As soon as it became apparent, it hid, never to be seen again. Who was it? Or worse, what was it? Theories quickly emerged on the internet. Some suggested it could be someone spying on guests from a hidden space in the hotel. A troubling explanation, but still within the realm of humankind. However, not everyone believes that. It is said that disturbing stories are told about this hotel. Guests waking up in the middle of the night feeling like someone is watching them. Unexplained sounds in the empty hallways. And shadows moving across the bathroom mirrors. A chain of stories that has fueled the idea that the place holds much darker secrets than it seems. What hypothesis do you have? Number 8. The following footage was captured inside one of the cars that make up the underground metro network in Santiago, Chile. A group of cleaning assistants were cleaning the carriages when suddenly one of them began to hear strange noises coming from one in particular. Intrigued, she decided to turn on her cell phone's camera to record what was happening. Little did she know she'd capture something that still sends chills down her spine to this day. Pay attention.
Oye. Ya. Es como por el tercer vagón para allá. Allá al fondo. Dile que me va a recibir. No me quiso estar solo.
A child's voice can clearly be heard inside the car. However, what he's saying is hard to understand. Some claim it's just babbling, nothing out of the ordinary. But others claim that if you listen closely, the voice repeats a frightening phrase. What did they do to me at school? And as if that weren't enough, in the background you can also make out a dark shadow that barely appears, and seconds later vanishes into thin air. Some internet users believe it could be a strange echo combined with the suggestion of the person recording. Others, however, are convinced that the subway, with its tunnels and corners steeped in history, is a perfect place for energies that have never found rest to become trapped. What do you think? Was it just an acoustic illusion, or the real voice of a child who still roams the subway cars? I'll read you in the comments. Number 7. In the world of the paranormal, there are people who claim to have a special sensitivity, capable of perceiving things that others find impossible. One such person was a medium who was called by a funeral home after the staff reported that strange and difficult to explain events were occurring there. During her walk, she says she felt a charged atmosphere, as if something invisible followed her every step. It was then that she decided to turn on her cell phone's camera, capturing something truly disturbing. The coffin lid begins to open and close as if something or someone were trying to get out. However, the woman finally plucks up the courage, approaches, and opens the coffin, discovering it to only be completely empty. Many have attempted to offer logical explanations. It could be a trick with invisible threads, or perhaps an effect caused by the ventilation of the room. But the curious thing is that there is no obvious trace of manipulation, much less anything that would justify such precise movement. The most faithful claim that these spaces, where death is constantly present, are perfect receptors for all kinds of energies. Even in the occult, there is an ancient concept that explains this: the call of the urns, a belief that holds that coffins can react when the spirit that inhabits them is still nearby. Are we witnessing a simple, well-crafted hoax, or the real manifestation of someone who has never found rest? Comment below. Number 6. The following recording corresponds to an urban exploration carried out by some young Thai people inside an ancient Buddhist temple. During the early morning, cameras in hand, they wandered through hallways and forgotten rooms until they came to an ancient pool in the center of the complex. What they saw there would mark them forever.
เสียงนกแสกลงมาเห็นเหมือนว่าจะเป็น
What you just saw seems like something out of a nightmare. A hand slowly emerging from the water, just as one of the young men was approaching with his own. A chilling moment that made him immediately retreat. These young men were YouTubers accustomed to exploring mysterious places, but they had never recorded anything like this. In addition to the hand, they say that same night, they heard strange noises and saw shadows that seemed to be following them, as if something in that temple didn't want them to continue their exploration. How would you react if you were faced with a situation like this? Or would you stay and record without looking back? Let me read you in the comments. Number 5. They say the solitude of the night is the paranormal's best ally, and the man who filmed the footage that occupies this position would prove it in the worst possible way. It all started when he decided to stay late at his office. While reviewing some files, that uneasy feeling began to creep in, the feeling of being watched. There you have it, a strange, tilted face looking down at him from a lower floor. Its hair drooped in an unsettling manner, and some even claim that a slight movement in its eyebrows could be perceived, as if it were actually a living being. The video quickly went viral on social media, and comments erupted with all sorts of theories. Some believe it's simply a mannequin, or even a strategically placed puppet, but others claim there's something much more sinister going on, as the subtle variations in the hair and expression seem to rule out an inanimate object. What do you think of this disturbing face? But others claim there's something much more sinister going on, as the subtle variations in the hair and the expression seem to rule out an inanimate object. What do you think of this disturbing face? Comment below. Number 4. It was nighttime when a man stepped out of his house for a few moments, seeking some fresh air. But that night would not just be another night, as two luminous trails that seemed to come from outer space began to descend before his eyes. Intrigued, he took out his cell phone and began recording, not suspecting he was about to capture something much more frightening.
Mira la weá, weón. La weá que apareció. La weá que apareció. Ahí está, weón. Esa apareció la weá.
The first thing we see are these lights falling at high speed. Many were quick to say they were meteorites or comets. But the truth is, given the way they move and their speed, that's practically ruled out. Other internet users have suggested it could be space debris entering the atmosphere, which seems a little more plausible. But this is where the odd becomes scary. I want you to pay attention to what the camera captures when it zooms in. Do you notice it? Appearing there clearly are two moons illuminating the firmament. How is this possible? Is it simply a recording error, a reflection produced by the lens? Or are the two phenomena somehow connected? Whatever it is, this recording has left more questions than answers, due to how strange and disturbing it turns out to be. Number 3. In the following case, what began as a simple feeling would soon turn into a real nightmare for Cheryl and her daughter. For some time, the little girl had been claiming that something or someone was moving inside the closet in her room. Through the crack in the door, she could see a figure moving, but she could never make out exactly what it was. At first, Cheryl thought it might be intruders hiding in the house, perhaps a homeless person or a stranger. The idea seemed far-fetched, but it was the most logical explanation, until something happened that made it clear there was something else at play. Watch
Hey guys, just wanted to jump on really quick because I had to stop sewing. My daughter just said that something weird really happened, and we've been experiencing a lot of strange things lately, just different noises and stuff. Don't mind my mannequins, I sew for a living, so. Can you tell Mommy what you just said?
I think there's something under the door.
Under the closet door? Okay. Is that what scared you? It's okay. What?
I'm scared.
Come, let's go, come on.
Among the sewing mannequins around her, the unexpected happened. One of the mannequins began to slowly sway on its own and suddenly fell violently to the ground. Neither Cheryl nor her daughter were nearby. There was no one who could have caused that movement. Distraught and terrified, all they could do was flee the room in the midst of a panic attack. Some believe these mannequins could be cursed or possessed. However, Cheryl herself dismisses that idea, as the strange events began long before she purchased them, just a few months ago. In fact, in another recording, Cheryl's daughter is seen walking slowly towards the closet, as if she had heard something coming from inside. The girl looks around, trying to find the source of the noise, but finds nothing. She leaves the room confused. And at that precise moment, the inexplicable happens. The closet door closes by itself, an action that defies all logic. Faced with this strange sequence, the big question is, what was actually captured here? Are we facing genuine paranormal activity, or is there another explanation that we simply haven't considered? The most disturbing thing about this case is that if the mannequins aren't responsible, then whatever is hiding in the house has always been there, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. What if what's lurking in that closet isn't actually linked to the objects, but to Cheryl's own daughter? Questions are added to this strange case, which apparently is still far from writing its final chapter. Number 2. A curious young man decided to explore an old abandoned house, a place said to hold a dark secret. Neighbors claim that strange things happened here, unexplained noises, footsteps in the night, and lights that turn on by themselves. With adrenaline pumping, the boy began his exploration of the first floor. Dust, old furniture, and weather-worn walls were all that seemed to inhabit this place. until he climbed to the second floor. At that moment before his eyes, something would happen that he would never forget.
Так, мне нужно сейчас будет ИГФ.
Inside a room, an old accordion rested. Without warning, it began to open and close on its own, emitting its deep, eerie notes, as if an invisible presence were playing it. Even at the end of the recording, you can see it shaking. Can you tell? The video quickly went viral on social media, and as is often the case, logical explanations soon appeared. Some said a draft might come through the window and move the accordion. Others claimed it could have been a barely perceptible string pulling from off camera, or even a simple setup to draw attention. But could the wind really make an instrument sound so clearly? Or would a prank be able to convey that confusing feeling that is perceived in the video? As always, you be the judge. Number 1. We finished this video with footage that will undoubtedly raise even the finest hairs on your skin. A man was returning home from work when he decided to get out of his car and open his front gate. Everything seemed normal until upon returning, he found something that left him completely baffled.
Así como cuando uno se descuida que va a abrir la puerta y después viene al carro y hay una niña que no sabe ni de dónde salió y todo por acá está cerrado. Cerrado, cerrado, cerrado. Y aquí voy a entrar el carro y me apareció esta niña aquí sentada mientras yo iba a ver lo de la puerta. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Sitting in the driver's seat, with her small hands gripping the steering wheel, was a little girl. The man, confused and clearly perplexed, began recording with his cell phone, claiming he had no idea where the creature had come from. It wasn't his daughter, and even more frightening, there were no adults around. But the most confusing thing happens at the end, when the man brings the camera closer to the girl's face. The image abruptly distorts, ending the recording with a sudden cut that leaves more questions than answers. Without a doubt, what we witnessed is upsetting. How did the little girl get there? Why did an adult never appear to accompany her? Some claim it could be a well-crafted montage, especially given the strange distortion at the end. However, many others question the same thing. Why was only the girl's face blurred, while the rest of the video remained perfectly clear? Are we dealing with a simple camera trick or a genuine paranormal phenomena? Was the girl never human, or did we simply witness something that should never have been recorded? Let me know what you think in the comment section, because this video has come to an end. My name is Leonore Clay, and this was the darkest secret